Let's try again. That was too long. I probably should have written all of this down. Forgive me, I haven't done this in a very long time. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Although I should be saying welcome to my channel because I don't think at this point any of you are returning subscribers anymore. But if you are, thank you so much. This is going to be a whole new era for my YouTube and Instagram, from both of which I've been taking a long hiatus. Now a lot of shit has went down, but let's just say that this time the content is going to be extremely different from what you guys are used to, or at least have been used to on Instagram. I do also want to introduce the second part of today's video. So we're going to be recreating the Gemini AI retro sari trend that has been going super duper viral on the internet, and I mean like literally everyone has been doing it. I have also done it, and I'm going to show the inspiration picture right here. I think we should just recreate it because it is a really pretty look, and since the festive season is also here, I thought what better way to mesh everything together and also give you guys a really nice look in case you want to be creating this for real life and not just for social media. You know what, this intro is really long, so let's just get started. So the biggest thing about these pictures is the skin, which looks very glowy and fresh and dewy. So we're going to be using the e.l.f. Halo Glow for that. I'm in the shade 1 Fair. So I'm just going to be taking this and applying it all over my face basically. And you can use a brush to blend this out, but I'm just going to use my fingers. I have washed and cleaned my fingers. Look at the condition of my skin. We'll get to everything. We'll talk about it. It's not been a good year for me, to be very honest, and my skin has definitely taken a beating. And you can see that this has already given our skin a very nice glow from within. Now for me, the next step is color correction. If you don't want to do any color correction, then you can move on to foundation or whatever your next complexion step is. I'm going to be going in with a slight color corrector, especially for my under eye area and also for all of these that have graced my face. So to color correct, I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix 24-Hour Concealer. This is in the shade NW35, and I'm going to be using this just a little bit under my eyes. Now there are other techniques that I use, but in this one we're not gonna go into a lot of techniques and everything because this video is going to be long as it is. I'm also going to put this a little bit on the sides of my mouth, and I'm also using this to cover up all these redness. You can also use a green corrector. Right now I am not using it because it's not as red. I can get away with this. I'm also going to be putting a little bit on my forehead because it is a little more discolored compared to the rest of my face. So when I put a foundation that matches the rest of my face, it can turn a little more ashy on my forehead. That's why I'm just using a little more of this warm color corrector to balance it out beforehand. Now I'm going to be using a flat top kabuki brush like this. This one is from Mars Cosmetics, and I'm going to blend everything out. Personally, I do like using this with the MAC concealer because it is quite a lightweight concealer, but it works so well to neutralize the under eyes without being overpowering. As you can see, it's not very high coverage. It's just a little bit of a tint to offset all the grayness. I'm also taking whatever is left over on top of my eyelids just to neutralize it slightly as well. We can see that the face looks so much more even toned now. So I won't be using a foundation because again, we're trying to preserve that skin-like effect that AI give us. Hence, we're going to be sticking to a skin tint, and this one is the L'Oreal Skin Tint. This is in the shade 2 to 3 Light. Trying to make sure to not touch the dropper to my skin. And once again, I'm just going to... What?
I just came to give you tea.
Oh, thank you.
Come here. There's a huge setup. You haven't even done anything.
I am doing it. Took me so long to just say the intro. So I'm just going to be using the same stippling brush that we used for the concealer because again, this one doesn't have a lot of coverage either and is very skin-like, and if I use a beauty blender, it's just going to take away any of the coverage on this already low coverage product. And whatever is left, I'm just going to be bringing it down my neck. Now the next step is going to be blush, and if you are going to be using a brightening concealer, which you don't have to, but in case you are, do it after your blush. And I'm going to be using this K-Beauty Creme blush in the shade Cozy Coral. This one does separate a little bit, but I love this blush so much. The color is also very like peachy orange. I don't know if you can see that. There's so much reflection on this. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. This is literally my favorite blush brush. I'm just going to be taking it like so. I'm tapping right on here because I don't want to take excess. You can see right now a little bit of the brush is coated. I'm just going to be tapping off all of the excess. Here you can do the same thing on your hand. And now I'm just going to apply it on my cheekbones. And you can see immediately it gives such a nice flush of color, and it's not going to be overpowering. It's not going to be blotchy. It's just going to be perfectly blended. I'm going to take whatever is left and apply it here, and you can stop here, but I'm going to go a little bit back and forth because this is the first thing to disappear from your face. So I do like to go in a little more heavy-handed, and I also like to go over my chin. Now, while I am going on with my layers of blush, let me just tell you briefly what happened. Now, 2024 was already not such a great year, but it was fine. I stopped making content because it just wasn't fulfilling me anymore. I don't know how to explain it. I felt like neither was it challenging enough, nor was I open to doing a lot of different things. I don't know. I guess I was really afraid of losing this audience if I tried something new. And I think I didn't also have the self-confidence to try something new. I was also kind of, I don't know if I should be saying this on camera, but I have been dealing with an addiction, and that's all I'll say about it. I am doing way better now, but it has been a journey with that as well. I really lost my passion for everything. Plus, working with brands and doing brand scripts and collaborations, it really took the joy out of makeup, and I think I just forgot why I was doing this in the first place. Everything just seemed to be on autopilot, and I wasn't enjoying the process anymore. I guess I was just lying to myself about it. Inevitably, it led to a burnout. I think you all have been noticing that I was burning out like way too easily. I would post, disappear because I was really trying to fight through it. But eventually, I just thought I would take a 1 week break, and that 1 week just like kept going on because I didn't feel inspired to create. And my mental health was also declining ever since 2024. It was declining for a long time, but I think since 2024, it had gotten really bad. Like I couldn't even function properly, and took me a while to even understand that I was super duper depressed. It's not like life was bad. Honestly, I'm very privileged that I could even take a break. Now, I did get a job in the middle. I did do a job for a few months, and I tried my hand at it, just tried to see if that is what I was meant to do, maybe leave this all behind. But lo and behold, it didn't work. All I could think of was creating content. But again, the moment I left the job and actually wanted to go and create content, I knew that I didn't want to create the type of content I was creating, but I didn't know what I wanted to create at that point. So I felt very like directionless. I was feeling really bad about myself. I still struggle with like body image issues and everything. But at that point, it was really bad. Like I was so depressed that I wasn't even doing skincare. Half of the times it was just so difficult even getting myself to like go and brush my teeth, brush my hair, and just taking care of myself in general. Like I didn't even know what I would say here, what I would do. I was just feeling so unfulfilled. Even though life in general, like my family, my friends, they have all been so supportive and given me a lot of encouragement and motivation. But you know what? Unless it comes from yourself, no matter how much anybody motivates you, it's just not gonna work. So that was 2024. Now 2025 was a whole different ball game. But again, we're going to be moving to another step while I talk about that because I don't want to bore you guys. For the brightening concealer, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible, and this is in the shade 312 Amber. Now, this is not that bright compared to my face because I cannot put a very bright concealer on my under eyes and not have it turn gray. So I just use a slightly brightening concealer that's maybe like 1 shade brighter, maybe maximum 2 shades lighter, especially on my under eyes, and this is very full coverage. So I like to go in here on the side of my nose. I don't go in on this area because I also crease a lot there. I'm gonna put it just these tiny dots, put a little bit right here and a little bit on my forehead. So yeah, 2024, towards the end of the year, like for 4 months or 5 months, I think I did a job in a digital marketing agency, and I was their social media manager, but I was also creating content, handling like a lot of different accounts. That was nice. Like 4 months, it was nice, but oh my god, the hustle of a job, first of all, it was a lot, and the pay was, well, let's not talk about it. But it was a really nice learning experience. People were really nice and I had fun. Like, I had a lot of fun and I liked doing the work. But every time that I would put in hours and hours into doing work for them, and because of my perfectionistic tendencies, I would do even more than what was required. Every time I was just thinking I could be spending this time on my own projects, instead of doing it for someone else and putting all of this effort and all of this research for my own content. I was again just feeling unfulfilled. I did leave the job eventually and thought I would go back to content creation, but again, I don't know, I was just not feeling inspired. But I was still quite ready to come back. Although I didn't really know what I wanted to do, I was like, I had the energy, I had the motivation. I was like, well, figure something out. Let me do some research, all of that. Then something happened that just like tore me apart. So we had this cat. She was not exactly our pet, like she was not our house cat, but she used to come every day. Like, so in case I decide to edit all of that out, because it is a bit much and it's still very raw for me, and it's really like, I don't know, it's turning my mood off. So I don't think I should keep that in a video where I'm coming back. Like, so in short, basically Kiko passed away very suddenly, and she passed away in my arms while suffering a lot. We suspect that she was poisoned. That was like an event that just shook me to my core, and honestly, I did not want to be doing makeup or anything. Like, nothing seemed more important. I was just like contemplating death and everything, and at that point, really, makeup was the last thing on my mind. So it just took away any momentum and energy and any desire I had to like come back. It just like shattered that. In any case, we'll just move on from this topic because I don't want to stay in this energy. Okay, let's move on to our next step while I talk, because clearly when I'm talking, for the next step, we're going to be doing powder, and I have my trusty Maybelline Fit Me right here. I've tried to find an alternative for this for such a long time, but I just keep coming back to this. This is phenomenal. So I've been using an eyeshadow brush to set my under eyes because it has been working really well for me. I just take a little bit, tap of excess, take a little bit, tap of excess. But before that, I'm just going to be taking the stippling brush again. And as you can see, there's a lot of creasing here. So I'm just gonna take that out and then apply this very, very lightly. Let me just share the rest of the story. Basically, January 1st, 2025, I don't know what the hell happened, but I suddenly had this like shoulder pain, which was a very weird shoulder pain. Like, I have never experienced anything like that before in my entire life. So I don't really know what it was. It was a very new feeling for me, and I don't do well with very new things. So I was obviously a little bit anxious about it. I mean, I wasn't that anxious. I was like, it's shoulder pain, it'll go away. But then it just did not go away. In fact, it became more frequent. And it wasn't like a pain. It was more like a throbbing type of thing, which I literally have never felt. So it was very new and I didn't know what it was. I asked my parents and then I asked Google, which was probably the biggest mistake that I could have made. And the AI overview told me a bunch of things, including the worst possible scenarios, and oh my god, did I spiral. I have Googled things before, but I don't know why. I think just like coupled with Kiko's death and like this realization I had about life, how everything could just be gone in an instant. I always knew it, but I just never really thought about it so deeply. That just like got me into a spiral, and then I was just going crazy. Like, I was convinced that I had one of the most horrible diseases ever and that I'm not gonna be making it. And it was like, the peak depression and anxiety and everything just hit me all together. And basically 3 months I was just crying. I went to the doctor and even the doctor couldn't really pinpoint what exactly was wrong. So she gave me a bunch of tests, and then I also found out more things that were wrong, like I had pretty high cholesterol. Also, some other tests revealed like I had really low vitamin D, vitamin B12. So yeah, I took medication for all of that. Okay, short break. I realized that I said I won't be talking much about this, but these words just keep rolling off my mouth, and clearly I'm oversharing, so I'm sorry. Okay, I guess I just needed to get all of this out, but I'm gonna try and keep it more brief. Also, do you see how less my blush looks already? This is exactly what I was talking about. Like, blushes just disappear, especially liquid blushes. But it's fine, we can just reapply it a little bit later, and you can also go in with a powder blush as well. I don't think I'm gonna do that for this video, but you can do that. Now I'm going to be doing my eyebrows while talking, and I'm not going to explain how I do my brows because I don't do a whole lot anyway, and this is boring. So yeah, we got all those tests done, and I was just such a mess. And you know, the worst part is that I was told by the doctor to, lose some weight and do some diet and exercising, and I did. I did do that out of fear, not really out of, a wellness kind of mentality, but more like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna die type thing. And I know that it's crazy. Like, as I'm saying it, I can see that this sounds so crazy, and people will be like, we have real problems, okay, grow up. I understand that, and I will say I have been able to take a break, and even though I did do a job, the fact that I was able to take a break without it hurting my family, and like I didn't have the pressure to like immediately start earning, I am grateful for that. Now, I do like to see this hiatus as something that I needed to do. I'm not sorry for it. I wish I could have done it without the break, but these things happen. I have felt guilty for a long time about this, but I don't feel that guilty anymore. People leave their jobs and go and get their higher studies done. To me, the thing that I want to study is not a subject yet, and I'm not talking about death. I'm just saying that what I do want to learn, it's not really done in an institution yet. I took this time to not just learn about myself, but also about a lot of other things, which I'll get to. So I do think of it like a period of higher studies, just not from any institutions. By the way, there is a spoolie on this side, but you can see this is like super dirty. I haven't cleaned this thing yet, so I'm gonna use a clean spoolie. I spent those 3 months, I kid you not, I was crying. I was crying so much at that point. No logic made sense. I was on Reddit forums and whatnot, and I was convinced that life is over. I didn't know what that had stemmed from, but as I figured more about myself, I found out that I have severe OCD. I always thought of myself as a very chill, laid back person, but I was really fooling myself. Like, I was really not self-aware. And this hit me like a ton of bricks. You want to control things around you. Yeah, you don't want to control other people, but you want to control situations, and you want to have control over your life. And that was like a light bulb moment. Like, oh my God, yes, losing control is what I'm afraid of. Not technically death or disease. It's the loss of how I would like a situation to play out. And that has been key to actually getting better, because I didn't take any professional help, although it came to a point where I did consider it. Even the doctor told me to go to a mental health specialist. At one point, my sister literally told me, dude, there is like a black cloud hanging over your head. I can see that you're engulfed in this like black cloud and of energy, and you're bringing the vibe of everyone down. And it didn't help like while I was feeling like that, but it did give me some perspective. And then I worked tirelessly on my mental health. I'm not right now at a place where I can just say, yeah, everything is 100% better. I am still working through it, and it's gonna take time, but I am way better than where I started from. So yeah, all of this anxiety was coming from also this place of guilt that I don't deserve to be healthy, to be happy, to enjoy the things that I have, or to enjoy life. I haven't suffered as much as people around the world. Like, there are children who are dying. The world is just such a horrible place. So what gives me the right to enjoy while there are millions of people suffering every single day? And that made me believe, like, you know what? I don't deserve to be healthy, so something is going to affect me. It was like one of the most horrible 3 months of my life in terms of mental health. But then I did get myself out of it. I started making promises to myself. I started taking care of myself. Right now, I have come to that place where I'm okay, like I am trying to be better. Let's move on to the eyes. I have been talking so much. I feel like I'm forgetting to do the makeup and this video is going to get so long, which I don't want it to be. Now, you don't have to do anything for the eyes. Eyes were so simple. Honestly, you could just leave it like this, add some mascara, and you're gonna be done. I'm going to do a little bit more because in case you are planning to wear this look out, so that it has a little bit of something, a little So the eyeshadow palette I will be using is the K-Beauty Wild and Free eyeshadow palette. So I'm just using these two shades to create some depth on the eyes. So the next few months, I just focused on getting to what I want to do with my channel, how I want to get back out there, what I want my content to be about. I watched like a lot of videos about so many different things, and somehow somewhere it just started inspiring me again. I started to get back into watching makeup videos. I fell in love with it in a different way. Like previously I used to only think of makeup as something that can make you look good, and sure, like, you know, artistic expression and all of that. I had to change my relationship with makeup, and it wasn't just a tool for me to look good anymore. Sure, of course I love looking good, who doesn't? But I also wanted to get into literally the creative side of makeup, the ingredient side of makeup, the science behind it, the techniques, finding solutions for problems that already exist in the beauty industry. And believe me, I found a lot of problems in the industry, and I'm sure you guys know it too. Then I started working on how to eliminate those problems. Okay, by the way, I'm just taking this shade and deepening the outer corner a bit. So yeah, while I was in the middle of my exploration, I was basically conducting a lot of experiments, and obviously my test tube was my face.
Okay.
I was trying to find out more about undertones and overtones and blah blah blah, you know, color this, that. So I ended up using a lot of my old foundations that I know don't match me, but I wanted to see how different the colors were, so I put them on my face. Until then, my face was doing really well, and my skin anyway isn't prone to breakouts. For like continuously a week, I was swatching foundations, removing, swatching, and that took such a toll on my skin. Oh my god, my skin was breaking out. I think this thing is called acne cosmetica, which is due to cosmetics. I had destroyed my skin barrier, and it was just these huge cystic pimples. Like, it was so painful. I have never suffered acne like this, so I have a different level of respect to people who have been suffering with acne all their life. I've been so much more careful with what I put on my face now. I do not put anything that I'm not sure of, and I always do a patch test first, and I have thrown out all the expired foundations and stuff. Let me show you the next step, because I'm yapping again. So I'm gonna be using this highlighter. I'm just gonna be taking this shade. I thought that let's use this time to learn more about lighting and audio and all of that, and then I really got into lighting, audio, and camera. Okay, so this is the eye look done. I realize that we have a lot more going on than the AI versions, but you know what? It. I'm going to be tight lining my eyes with this K-Beauty Kajal. Again, a very optional step. You don't have to do it. I just think it makes a difference. And now what I'm gonna do is right here, I'm just gonna add a little bit to this outer corner and just a little bit on the outer corner of the lower lash line. I'm just taking an angled brush and I'm gonna dip back into that black color in the palette. Just going over this, kind of extending it out and also extending it in where we don't have any kajal here. I'm just keeping it a little bit fatter on the outer corners and thinner as we get in the inner corners. As you can see, instantly that just like brings out the eye shape. I'm just gonna curl my lashes first. Going to be using the Maybelline Sky High mascara. Yeah, the main point that I wanted to make was I am going to be having a whole different style of content now. I don't want to be a spokesperson for brands. Like, sure, of course, brand sponsorships are required. If it's a brand that I really believe in, of course I'm gonna give my reviews and everything, and I'm gonna work with brands that I love. But I have always wanted to teach, and that's why I started with YouTube as a platform first and not Instagram. And I think Instagram really made me lose the script. So yeah, what I'm saying is I want to teach you more techniques and tips and tricks that I've learned, ingredient lists and how to read them, how to navigate your way through makeup in a more informed way and not just like buy the first thing that somebody is asking you to buy. I want to make this a really nice community where we can talk about the things we love, we can share our experiences about anything, and I want to build like a good community, not just about makeup, for like life. I would love it if you could be on that journey with me. I think you're gonna get something worthwhile out of it. We're just gonna finish up with some bronzer, and I'm using the mini Hoola bronzer. So yeah, coming to authenticity and using AI, like look, I am not against the use of AI. I am a bit mindful obviously about using it. I'm not really worried about the AI that we have now. It's more like how it's being used. Like, why do you want to take the fun and creativity away of, doing a whole ass makeup look and doing a photo session and getting multiple photos and then seeing how it turned out? I mean, obviously it's also taking jobs away. There needs to be some laws, this trend in particular, where it's like, what are we even doing as a society? Is the biggest thing being on social media and showing off on social media? Like, have we forgotten that there is a real life out there? I'm not against doing this trend. Sure, it's fun, but I'm more worried about what it represents. I basically have a problem with the fact that people are forgetting that it's not just about creating this one picture or like these series of pictures when you're just sitting in your t-shirt at home and then you have these beautiful pictures. And sure, that's great. Like, you want to feel good about yourself, or if you don't have the capability to do it at the moment and you just want to feel of how you will look or something like that, then it's fine. But when people start using these, like I saw someone using these as their wedding shoot photos and not really getting a wedding shoot done, it is their choice, of course. I don't know, it just seems very inauthentic to me. I feel like people don't seem to understand that it's not you. Like, I was showing my boyfriend the picture and he was like, oh my god, you look so pretty. And I was like, that's not me though. It just looks like me. It resembles me. It's not me. Does it have some features that match with mine? 90% sure, but it's not me. I didn't do that. We can go on, like, maybe makeup you consider is fake, plastic surgery is fake, face tuning is fake, and this is like face tuning on steroids. We were having problems with face tuning at first, and now we have done a full 180 and we are doing something even worse. And plus, you're losing the process. Like, I feel like as a society, we have been so used to seeing the finished product, the finished picture, the end result, that we have forgotten how the beauty of the process. I myself am a victim of it. There's a lot to unpack here. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it in this video because this is already too long for anybody's liking, and we're just gonna finish the lip. In the pictures, everybody's wearing a nude lipstick. Personally, I would definitely pair this with a red lip, but I know a lot of people don't like red lips, and this is the next best option. It looks very subtle, very pretty. It's more like a brownish red, which would go nicely for today's video. So I'm gonna use this. This is the shade 14 Glow Up. Now, coming to lipsticks, we do have multiple options here, but I think the best one would be Chai from Nykaa. These are their new Matte to Last Bullet lipsticks. This is the shade Chai. A very, very universally flattering shade. It's like a more neutral brown, and it might look a little more red-based on camera, and also a little bit lighter than it actually is. So this is what the shade looks like. It's a little bit darker than what the picture suggested, but if you have a skin tone that's deeper than mine, then this will be a really pretty true nude on you. So I'm just gonna be back after curling my hair and showing you guys a finished look so that we can compare which one looks better, real or AI. Alright, so this is the finished look and I had so much fun doing this. Let me know which one you prefer. Do you like more of the AI look or do you like more of the real look? And also if there are any specific videos that you would like for me to do next, because I really cannot wait now that I'm back. So yeah, that's all for today. I hope you guys have a really great day or night ahead, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!